I'm Dix Astro Coach. Welcome to tonight's live stream looking at the energies of the full moon in Gemini, of which we are well and truly in its energy. So how are you all? How are you feeling? This is a very interesting full moon. It's bringing up really interesting energies, which I'm going to explain about. But first of all, I want to say that to be an astrologer, one needs to have a love and a liking for astronomy. So first of all, I'm going to give you a very short astronomy lesson, and that will become clear as to why I'm going to do that as I go through this story. Because did you know that our solar system is one of 100 billion stars contained in the Milky Way? And did you know that our solar system, our sun, moves on its own orbit around what's known as the galactic center of the Milky Way? So not only does our solar system, where the sun appears to be static, so the planets of our solar system move around the sun, our sun, in their particular orbits, but as a collective solar system, we also orbit the galactic center of the Milky Way. Did you know that the Milky Way is believed to be between 13 and 15 billion years old? And our solar system takes between 225 and 250 million years to complete one orbit around our galactic center. And if the size of our galaxy was reduced to 100 meters, our solar system would be the size of a grain of sand. And as William Blake wrote in his poem Auguries of Innocence in 1803, to see a world in a grain of sand and a heaven in a flower and hold infinity in the palm of your hand. But there's also a mythic origin of our galaxy. So all our stars and solar systems and constellations have, in a sense, been assigned myths and stories, mostly coming from Greek origins. So the mythic origin of our galaxy, the Milky Way, is portrayed in the story of Hercules, who was a son of Zeus, and what happened. Because Hercules was not liked by Zeus's wife, Hera. Now, Hera is a goddess. Zeus, of course, is the god of gods. And Hercules had been born of a mortal woman, but his father was Zeus. Now, Zeus wanted Hercules to have immortality. So one night, when Hera was sleeping, he took the baby Hercules and put Hercules to suckle at the breast of Hera. And Hera wakes up to find this, in a sense, rogue child suckling her milk. And in her rage, she rips her breast away from this baby. And what happens is the milk sprays out across the cosmos. And that was how the Milky Way was born. And the word galaxy comes from the same root as the word milk in Greek, galaxias. Now we get on to the interesting stuff of the astrology, because astrologically, now the reason I'm talking about the galactic center is because the full moon in Gemini is in perfect alignment with the galactic center. And the sun, which is opposite the full moon in Gemini, in Sagittarius, is conjunct the galactic center. Now, it's conjunct the galactic center once a year. But this particular year, of course, it's bringing a full moon into the equation. And this is where it gets interesting, because when the galactic center is activated by a transit, it's as if Hera's breast is withdrawn from Hercules. And this kind of symbolizes that something is withdrawn from us. But look at what gets created. Because the Milky Way is created. So think about with this full moon, if anything seems to be dark, hidden, lost, or is being somehow withdrawn, see it as a necessary part of the process towards the new life that can come in. Because this final full moon of the year in Gemini brings in the energies of communication, thought, beliefs, the social media. Also, the moon can represent people. So I wonder what you, in general, are feeling is being highlighted in your own lives. And also what you're aware of in the collective is being highlighted. I don't need to spell it out. We know what is happening in the world in general. There's no need to dwell on that, because the beauty of this particular full moon is to elevate us, to lift us up out of this kind of, you might hear noise going on, it's my cats playing and scratching. Oh joy. Anyway, the energy of this full moon is to lift us up out of, I'm sorry about the cats, never work with children or animals. So I'll start again. The energy of this full moon is to raise our consciousness up, because the galactic center has a planet at its center. It has a planet called Sagittarius A. Now, that is beside or behind or in front of the Milky Way's black hole. So the symbolism of this is, what do you need to let go of? What beliefs do you need to let go of? How do you need to lift yourself up energetically? How can you make yourself feel more connected to the sort of the divine? Because it seems to me that we've got so much going on day to day, not just with the run up to Christmas, but with all the problems that we know are around with COVID and all of that. And it's how can we actually rise above that and still make this particular time of year meaningful in whatever denomination you celebrate this time of year. It's about, you know, if there's one message of this time of year, it's to connect with that spiritual side of ourselves, to connect with that divinity, that divine. And that, I feel, is one of the feelings, the energies that this full moon is really trying to draw out of us. So you need to think, what outdated beliefs are you holding on to that really need to be let go of, to allow more appropriate and wiser belief systems to emerge? So my senses with this is that this full moon is requiring us to take an evolutionary leap of faith in our own spiritual understanding and the connection we have with that spirit within as well as the spirit without. So this full moon is a perfect time to meditate and invite in the higher learning for ourselves and humanity that Sagittarius can represent. So Sagittarius really asks us to think outside of our small little worlds, if you like, to actually see the bigger picture. So this is a full moon about seeing the bigger picture. So whatever your circumstances at the moment, if you're locked down, locked in, whatever is going on for you, whatever plans may be being changed at short notice, and it's about being able to just recognize that this is where you're meant to be. So whatever it is that is happening for you at the moment and over the next few days and couple of weeks, this is how it's meant to be. Turn it into a positive and draw out, you know, the milk from Hera's breast that can feed and nourish you and really help you to connect with that higher source. Now, there's lots of energy around this full moon, and I'm not going to talk about all the different aspects because there is so much going on astrologically. But I'm just going to mention, to start with, Jupiter, who happens to rule Sagittarius. And Jupiter is about, you know, it's about connecting with a higher self. It's about luck. It's about opportunity. It's about vision. It's about really feeling the sort of, you know, connecting with that oneness. And Jupiter is in a very harmonious angle to both the Sun in Sagittarius, which it rules, and the Moon in Gemini. So it does feel as if it's really inviting us to just take a step back and go, actually, look how lucky we are. Look how lucky we are that what is happening today. In the sense that if this had happened 50 years ago, we may not have been so well equipped to cope with the challenges that we're facing. So I do feel that this full moon reminds us to bring in that hope that miracles do happen and collective faith can move mountains. Now, some of the other energy that's going on, we've got Chiron, the wounded healer, goes direct today. So that's an interesting energy. Chiron, which is an asteroid, has been retrograde for many months, and Chiron is going direct. What needs to heal? This is about healing this asteroid. What needs to heal? What do you need to heal in you? What do you need to recognize about yourself that is on that kind of lower base of vibration, that is not really very helpful or doesn't have a good positive energy? How can you lift yourself out of that? You know, I was talking to friends today and saying we tend to collectively sometimes dwell on the negative or criticize others or criticize ourselves. We can be so cruel to ourselves. And this is really about saying, you know, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, raise others up, help others rise above and out of their difficulties. And this energy of Chiron is asking us to bring in that healing energy. Now, the other big news is we've got Venus in Capricorn. Now, Venus is our planet of love, relationship, self-worth, value, money. But she's in Capricorn. And Capricorn is very much about tradition, institutions. This is the way it is. These are the rules, and this is what we must abide by. Now, Venus is going to go retrograde today. So is this a good thing or a bad thing? Well, I think Venus is going to be retrograde for quite some time. So it can feel a little bit as if someone is putting on the brakes. And this in turn is going to bring in the energy of, if you follow my astrological videos, you'll know I've talked a lot about the Saturn-Uranus square. Saturn brings restriction, shutdown, closing in. Uranus wants to be free. So we've got these two energies in a tug of war, and they are really in orb at the moment. They are really, and you can feel it in the world in general. Everyone has their expectations about Christmas Day and the whole of the festive season, and it's all slowly being kind of deconstructed. And this is Pluto conjunct Venus in Capricorn. Venus, Pluto will transform, it will deconstruct first. Saturn in Aquarius is deconstructing things. And Venus going retrograde, it will feel like the brakes are put on. We might experience it as unexpected outbreaks of rebellious behaviour from people who just cannot cope, and I don't blame them, much longer with the restrictions, which are literal, but they are actually astrological as well. So I think we have to really be kind to ourselves and sympathetic to others, because with many countries experiencing yet again another sort of partial lockdowns, full lockdowns, I think also Venus is going to affect the general economy, so that we'll see a slowdown of spending and the economy, so that the year will probably end on a somewhat negative note. But I don't want to depress you, because it sounds as if things are so, it's just that the astrology at the moment is so challenging. But the benefits of what we can learn from it are huge. And I think if we can honour that inner self, that kind of energy within that connects us to something that is beyond ourselves, and that's the Sagittarius energy, where the sun is, then we can really work to bring in something much, almost like a new world, a new earth. So I think we have to trust and have faith that we're going through this extraordinary time, and that we're being prepared for the birth of a new and richer and wiser way of living with each other and for the planet. So try to tune your frequencies into that higher level to bring healing for you and for the highest good of all. And we need to let go of those lower, baser, vibrational thinking, which includes competition, greed, envy, and fear. That's what we need to rise above. Ooh, that was all very serious, wasn't it? So I'm going to go on to your individual zodiac signs now. And as usual, we're going to start with Aries. And Aries, for you, I'm going to tell you where the full moon is and where this galactic center is in your chart. So the full moon for you is in Gemini in the 3rd house. Now what that means is this is very much about communication for you. This is where you need to walk your talk, Aries. If you feel you're not being heard, this full moon is shedding light on the areas that you're not getting heard and really suggesting that you do something about making sure you find a better way to get your point across. Now, the galactic center for you is in Sagittarius, in the part of your chart connected with higher learning. It's also connected with travel, long distance travel. But I think this is travel of the mind. And I think this is inner travel of the soul. And I think this is about you really connecting on an inner level and seeking out your truth. So let's just also look at Venus in Capricorn for you, because this is in the part of your chart to do with your career. So you might find that with Venus going retrograde, issues come up about how much you're getting paid, actually, what you're getting paid, and maybe a financial review. So, you know, it doesn't have to be sort of anything more dramatic than that. And it could also be that you'll have some kind of recognition that actually you are worth a lot within the frame of working that you're doing. So, and with Jupiter in Aquarius making this lovely aspect to this full moon, it's saying dream big, Aries, because this is a full moon that you could really bring something very important and dear into being. You can manifest it. Okay, Taurus. So, all you Taurians out there. And remember, these are for your ascendant as well. So, if you do know what your ascendant is, listen out for that one too. So I'm Sun Taurus, so I'm going to be talking about me now, maybe. I don't know whether I'm going to like what I'm going to say. So, okay, so for me, for Taurus, it's in the second house of finance. So I think this full moon is shedding light on one's spending and one's general economic kind of situation currently. And with the galactic center in that opposite sign of Sagittarius, which can be to do with other people's money, I think, thinking of myself and how much I've been sort of pressing click buy, and need to slow down, that actually this is probably suggesting that one doesn't let one's resources all disappear into a black hole. So I think Taurus, normally actually Taurus, you're quite frugal, but I think this is about just thinking, with that Venus retrograde in Capricorn, put the brakes on a bit, just slow down with the spending. Because Jupiter in Aquarius in your 10th house is making you think that you just have money to burn. You don't, Taurus, you don't. Okay, Gemini. Well, of course, Gemini, this is your full moon. And this brings in the whole area of your close one-to-one relationships, because it brings in the Sun in Sagittarius, which is in that part of your chart, connected with close relationships. So, with it being conjunct the galactic center, what don't you want to lose? Sometimes it's good to think about, sometimes we can think, oh, I've had enough of this, or I've had enough of him or her or whatever. And sometimes it's about thinking, I must be careful I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Sometimes we forget to look at what we've got and actually value it. And that Jupiter in Aquarius in the 9th house is really saying, actually, you have wonderful opportunities here to expand your knowledge and expand the energies of the close relationships you have, and make them and transform them into something actually much more valuable. Cancer. This is very much for you, Cancer, one about the inner you. I suspect, Cancer, you will be actually feeling that you have a kind of aha moment with this particular full moon. I think you'll be sensing that things can shift and change, especially with personal relationships. It feels like you have to go back over old ground in regards with perhaps a particular relationship, that maybe there's some healing that needs to be done. Maybe angry or cross words have been said and you just need to, again, just look at how you can heal that. So now we come on to Leo. So Leo, for you, this is very much about what you would like to manifest into your present reality. I think you have ideas, you have projects and thoughts of what you could launch, and I think this full moon is giving you the green light. I just feel it's saying, go for your dreams, aim high. Jupiter in Aquarius in the 7th house is just kind of saying you have the support of loved ones. They want to see you succeed. So actually go with your intuition, follow that, but just be mindful of your daily routine with that Venus retrograde in that part of your chart, that you don't load yourself up with too much and forget to take care of you. So then we move on to Virgo. Virgo, for you, this is all about your career. It also brings in the energy of your home and family. And I think this is very much about changes you want to make on the home and family front, and for it somehow to blend in better with the work you do, or your soul path, your soul direction, what you want to achieve in this life. And I think your day-to-day life is so busy that you find it quite difficult to keep up with the mountain of tasks that you have to achieve, so that you actually feel that quite frustrating at times. But, you know, Venus in your 5th house in Capricorn, I think is helping you to go back and just review projects that you've been initiating and you've been getting going. And there may be some that you set aside, but that you'll look back at and you'll realise actually they do have an incredible value. So you can use this energy to bring something into being. Libra. Travel, travel, travel is on your mind all the time. You really want to whoosh, go. And it's just a bit frustrating because there are so many restrictions, which I don't need to go into. But I think this full moon is also asking you to go within. I think this is about inner journeys. This, as I said in the sort of the run-up to the Zodiac signs, it's very much about actually us, it's about praying. It's about meditation and prayer and connecting with some greater energy than ourselves and actually letting go. It's like we have to let go. And Libra, I feel if you could just let go and let go of something in you, that will enable what you need, not necessarily what you want, but it will enable what you need to come in. Scorpio, do you have issues with money that is owed to you, or some financial transaction that is a bit sticky? Because this full moon looks like there's a sort of almost like a bottomless pit, and that as much as you try to gain the sort of the resources from a particular source, it just keeps melting away. And I think that it's about changing tactics. You know, it's about finding a different way to handle this energy. This may be about looking at investments and how you could somehow save some money in your piggy bank to, you know, literally for that rainy day. Because I think you have plans, Scorpio. I think you would like to feel you have something a little bit more concrete in your life. And so you want to do something that will somehow secure your future. You are a fixed sign, and you're the sign opposite to Taurus. Taurus is fixed and is about security. So Scorpio also has that urge for that security. Sagittarius. So this is a very harmonious and loving full moon for you. It may be that there are one or two people that you're close to that drift away, but only because the life you have with them or the path you were treading with them has come to a natural conclusion. But I do feel that with the sun in your first house, Sagittarius, and with the galactic center here, you have immense resources at your fingertips. If you can really become aware and just dwell on that energy that you have the galactic center in your sign. So this will be closely aspected to your natal sun. And if anyone knows the exact degree of planets, personal planets or the outer planets that they have in the sign of Sagittarius, if they're in that last 5 degrees of Sagittarius, then they are truly blessed with this connection to this. It's almost like a direct link to the divine. So that's really just super, super exciting. And I think you too have got to put the brakes on a bit with your finances. Just slow down a bit with how much you're spending out. You know, click by, as I was saying for Taurus. So just be mindful of that. Capricorn. So I feel that your working routine and your health is just, could be a little bit below par at the moment. You might have been working very hard to get certain things finished before the holiday season, and it's just showing at the moment that you're feeling a little bit, I really need a rest. So listen to that and give yourself a rest. I really feel it's important that you get the psychological rest and that you do this inner work to meditate and really try and connect with that higher self part and listen to the messages that you get back from that part. There are some lovely guided meditations on YouTube that you can, you know, if you just sort of search for sort of meditations to connect with higher self, for example, there's just an immense amount of material that one can use to do these kind of journeys. And also I think because Venus is in your sign and going retrograde, I think Venus is just actually saying, slow down and actually give yourself lots of self-care. And now we come on to Aquarius. So Aquarius, this is very much for you about family, and it's about children, it's about romance, and it's like you've got these dreams and these hopes and these wishes for the way you would like things to be over the next kind of week or so. And I think this full moon, because it sheds light from the sun in Sagittarius, and we have to remember the sun is kind of aligned with this galactic center, So there's that black hole that can, you know, suck it up, so to speak, but that doesn't happen, don't worry. It's a metaphorical saying, but I think it's very much that don't get lost. Don't get lost in the sort of the mood and the emotions that maybe things aren't panning out exactly as you would like them for the holiday season. This is a full moon about adapting. And you know, Gemini, the sign, is very quick thinking, and it can adapt, and it can flow, and it's mutable, so it can bend and flow with the energies. So all of us, including you Aquarius, we need to flow with the energy of this time and accept it. You know, whenever we rail against something or fight against something, it's so much harder for us personally. But let's move on now to Pisces before we bring this to a close. And this is very much about home and family. This is about you needing to spend time with the family. It's as if your working life and your soul path and what you've been initiating in terms of your career direction has been extremely illuminating and enlightening. And I think that Pisces too, like a lot of us, you just need to slow down and have a rest. With Jupiter in the part of your chart Aquarius that's to do with your inner self, this is such a brilliant time for you to really connect with your inner self. And like I was suggesting to Aquarius, to do some guided meditations, to just really see if you can connect with the energy that we have around at the moment. Because it's a super energy. And this is a super interesting full moon. We have this energy now for a couple of weeks. And in fact, next Monday week, the 27th, I will be doing my live stream for the new moon in January on the 2nd, which is in Capricorn. And so I hope you can join me then. But for now, I'd like to say to everyone, thank you so much for joining me and for your support. And for those of you that have subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you so much. And if you haven't, I'd really appreciate it if you could. That would be fantastic. Also, if you'd like a one-to-one with me for astrology, to look at your natal chart, to see what next year is going to unfold for you, then please get in touch. I'd really love to connect with you. And in the meantime, I want to say thank you so much to Gozo in the House for hosting this full moon tonight. They're an amazing online digital magazine. If you haven't checked them out properly, I really recommend that you do so. They are great. And on that note, I'd like to wish you, because I won't see you till after Christmas, a very happy Christmas. And may you and yours and your loved ones stay healthy and well and be happy. Thank you. Bye for now.